So let's use different types of instruments to let you figure out what instrument you want to choose to build and to make. So let me teach you the different types of names for each of the different classifications of instruments. So we are going to start with chordophones. A chordophone sounds like chord. That's the main part of the word. The chord is for any instrument with a vibrating string. And it's really easy for me to remember a chordophone because I think about guitar or ukulele, because you get to play a bunch of strings at the same time. And so you can either pluck a chordophone, or you've seen a lot of chordophones in orchestras with the string section. And there are violins, violas, cellos, and basses. With the chordophones, it is really easy to see the vibration happen when you pluck the string, because the string actually shows the wave going back and forth. So you can actually see the vibrations going down. Now, with any string instrument, the way that I like to think about making an instrument, if I wanted to, is we need to have, first of all, we need to have some kind of string, and the string needs to be lifted up. So the string on this ukulele is lifted up by the bridge, and it's suspended over this bridge and goes all the way over the body of the instrument, all the way over to this nut, and is suspended on this nut and then wraps really tightly into these pegs. So when you move the peg tighter, the string gets really stronger, so the pitch, the wavelengths go faster and the pitch goes higher. And if you wanted to make an instrument that has different notes, you could make either strings that are tightened at different, so that they're tighter or looser, or you could make strings out of different sizes. So this ukulele, has thick strings and then has thinner strings. So when you think about making your instrument, you could use a type of string that is different. On some violins, they have nylon, but then on maybe one or two have steel. So you could change the kind of string that you use. When you have your strings, you need to be able to have these wavelengths be heard. And some of my friends, when they've done this project in the past, they made these strings, but then they didn't have any way of the sound to be put out or amplified. So the acoustic instrument has to have something where the wavelengths bounce back and forth inside of it. And this body of a ukulele allows the sound to go back and forth inside of this hollow space, but then the sound comes out of a sound hole. So if I were you, I would not have an open flat box. If you were to get a shoebox, I would make sure you had a top and then maybe cut a hole into it instead of having it just be a wide open box, because it's harder to hear. So just make sure that if this is what kind of instrument you want to choose to make, that the sound waves have a way of bouncing back and forth inside, up and down. All right, so let's go on to our next category, which is called aerophones. And if you think about aerophones, I think about aeroplane, and aeroplane is in the air, in the sky. So I remember aerophones as being the instruments that you have to that vibrate based on air going through. And what I know you guys have gotten to play recorders before in 4th grade, but I also like to use my oboe reed, because I play oboe, as a way of explaining how the air vibrations work in the aerophone instruments. So we have this reed. Actually, this is 2 pieces of cane, and this is what it looks like when I first start. It looks like a piece of bamboo, but this is a special kind of like reed cane that it grows in the water, and so it likes to soak up water, and it has little bundles, and when the wood gets wet, it moves. It's really flexible and moves. And what I do is I cut these and I make it one, and then I bend it over, and then I snip it and wrap it, and it becomes 2 pieces of wood that when I blow through it, it vibrates back and forth, kind of like what Miss Smith said with the vocal cords hitting back and forth, hitting together. Well, these pieces of wood hit together and it makes vibrations, and you can really hear the vibrations in these double reeds. So I'm getting it a little wet, and I'm gonna just blow. I'm not even gonna do my embouchure. I'm just gonna put the air in. Wow. So you can hear not only one note, but when I really let the reeds go against each other, you can hear 2 notes at the same time. So if I bring it back and I let it only vibrate a little bit, you hear 1 note. And I'm going to put this into my oboe, and you can see that it's a piece of wood, and each key is over top of a hole, just like a hole in a recorder. And then the piece of wood, the sound is amplified because the bell allows the sound, instead of going straight, it allows the sound to go out in different directions. So I'm just gonna push my fingers down, and as I push my fingers down, you'll hear the air coming out of the hole that's below. An easy way to help you make an aerophone is if you find a straw and you clip the end of it, and then when you blow into it, it's kind of just like this oboe reed, and you could put little holes in it, and you could make your own oboe. La mellophone, which you guys have heard of metallophone, and metallophones that we know have metal pieces that you hit, but the lamellophone are pieces of metal that are plucked, that vibrate when you pluck the actual metal. And unfortunately, I don't have mine from school where I am at home, but if you wanted to make it, you would take some kind of wooden box, so that could be kind of like or a shoebox or something that the air can vibrate through, and then you can put on attached metal pieces that are longer and shorter. And if it's longer, the pitch will be lower and the vibrations will be further apart. And if it is a shorter piece, then the vibrations will move more quickly and it'll be a higher note. Okay, so let's go to the next type. An idiophone is any instrument that you can find around the house or find around that you could vibrate, that the instrument itself vibrates. So I have a maraca, and when the beads inside hit the plastic that I have, when it hits it, then the plastic itself goes and vibrates, and those vibrations go out. So you can make this very easily with any kind of water bottle. And if you want to make a higher pitch, take a water bottle and put more pieces of beans or whatever inside. And if you want to make it lower, then we want to have more space in the air so that it'll take longer for the vibrations to happen, and that'll create two different sounds. So that's usually what maracas are. Maracas are two different sounds because one has more than the other inside of it. So, and you can do that with lots of different type of things where the instrument itself vibrates. Okay, the last type of instrument is called the membranophone. And they are instruments that vibrate because skin is pulled across, and then when you hit it, the skin itself vibrates. And you guys, we've been playing hand drums since we were in kindergarten, but the hand drum itself, when you tap it, the vibrations of the actual skin itself is what's moving back and forth. And if you wanted to make this, actually, we did it this summer, just my girls, we took a tin can, and we got a balloon, and we pulled the balloon over top and taped it around, and then the balloon you could see vibrate. So here are the tin cans and the two balloons that we made, and in order to make different sounds, we made one of them looser than the other one. So you can make two different sounds for bongos. In order to make an idiophone, we basically took an egg and put beans in it and put 2 spoons and taped around it and we decorated it. And we had more than in the other one. So, another way is to make them different sizes. So take paper plate, 2 different size paper plates. Okay? So I hope those give you some ideas to help you with your project.